G'day, hi, and welcome. Alright, this is just a voiceover, so uh, hopefully you'll enjoy it. This topic kind of comes up on the internet all the time, and it kind of manifests in a few different kind of questions along the line of, should I teach my girlfriend how to ride a motorcycle? Should I teach my buddy how to ride a motorcycle? Should I let my buddy teach me how to ride a motorcycle? Should I let my boyfriend or girlfriend teach me how to ride a motorcycle? And most the time, I know a lot of people will do this, but I would suggest no, and here's why. And I know some people might take exception to it, and that's fine, but hear me out on this. I think you should leave that up to the professionals, the people who do it for a living. For example, here in Canada, and I know in a lot of states in the States and most European countries, you have to take some sort of a riding course, but there's a lot of places where it's not mandatory at all, and it reflects in the accident, rightfully so, because the things that people don't consider is that their own abilities, let alone teaching people bad habits. Now, you might call me a bit of a hypocrite on this because of how I learned how to ride a motorcycle. I learned it amongst buddies with junker dirt bikes in the middle of gravel pits somewhere. When we were teenagers, and we messed these bikes up, and we learned the hard way, trial and error, that type of thing. So we learned how to take a corner the wrong way 100 times before we learned how to do it right. But we did it at lower speeds, and we did it whatever. Don't kid yourself. You can still kill yourself on a dirt bike plenty easy. But when we're talking about street bike riding of any sort, whether it's a cruiser, a moped, or a tour bike, or a Harley cruiser, whatever, it doesn't really matter. The things is, you got a lot more things coming at you on the road. Road conditions aside, you have other objects, you got pedestrians, you've got traffic, you've got lights, you've got puppy dogs and baseball, balls bouncing out, kids bouncing out in the streets, and you got bad drivers, you got driving and texting, you got all kinds of things that are going against you. And then you got the person that leaves the banana peel in the middle of the road. Today when I was out, not in this footage, but there was a freaking water jug in the middle of the road. Why was there a water jug in the middle of the road? I don't know. But these things can sneak up on you if you're not paying attention. So learning how to ride a motorcycle, you'll find no shortage of footage of guys trying to teach their extremely hot girlfriends how to ride their brand new R6 on video, just to only watch the girl whiskey throttle the thing and cartwheel it onto the side, and they're all scraped up and crying, and now you got like $3,000 of fairing damage because or the guy who teaches his buddy, hey, look, my brand new R1, I'm going to let my buddy ride it for the first time. He's never ridden a motorcycle before, but I gave him some instructions. So, in other words, what you've just done is tied your buddy to a tiger's tail that's sleeping and said, pull on it really gently and just be ready for the response. You know what I mean? Yeah. Again, newbies have no clue about what they're about to do. They don't know what they don't know. They've never experienced this before, and you're throwing something, a beast machine full of testosterone and power, and you're throwing this at them and saying, "Go to it. Good luck." you know what I mean? So there's no shortage of people giving really bad instructions to people trying to learn how to ride motorcycles. So it does, if you've got a bike you don't care that gets beat up, and you got, let's say like a 125cc bike or something like that, something that's not going to get away from most people. But these little bikes too, there's no shortage of, people whiskey throttling even the smallest of bikes because they just don't know how to do it. And they're not given adequate instruction to do this. This is I think more often than not. And not everybody has common sense on how to approach things, especially when it comes to mechanical stuff. So, no, I don't recommend people try to teach others how to ride motorcycles per se, in the sense of, hey, take my word for it because I know better than anybody else. I say take everything with a grain of salt. You can learn from others, and you can pass on tips. You can pass, such as I'm doing now. I'm not an expert, I'm not an instructor, but I do have a lot of experience over the years, but I'm getting back into it new again, so I'm relearning again. And what I'm relearning, a lot of stuff is coming back, but there's some things that, it's like anything, you don't forget how to do it. But there's a lot of things that, hey, when I do catch myself making a mistake, it's usually a newbie mistake. Because, again, I haven't ridden on the road in 20 years, right? even though I have 100,000, 130,000 miles of experience on the road. You might as well say I've got one. Just starting over again. And in the past 1,000 kilometers or so or 600 or 700 miles that I've put on this bike since I bought it, I'm relearning a lot of things again. Now I'm starting to work out my precision. I'm starting. Okay, I've tested the braking power of the bike. I've tested I've tested quite a few things on the bike. It's set up now that I'm very intuitive. When I'm riding, I'm not even looking at the motorcycle. I'm almost only just paying attention to the road. But I'm also rediscovering that, oh yeah, these road conditions versus that. When you hear, see a day like today and you hear an experienced rider go, oh man, that's a greasy spot. And you're looking around, what do you mean the road's completely dry? Well, those who ride, when a rider says, oh, that's a greasy spot, or I got a greasy spot on my tire or something, they know what they're talking about from experience, not from a book, not from anything else. And you can't get that experience. It's a genuine thing. You can't get it until you get it on the road. So if you don't have the proper fundamentals when these things pop up, these kind of strange things, this road I'm riding on now is completely horrible. This is why I'm bouncing all over the lane. I'm trying to avoid the worst part, the potholes. I mean, the road patches have road patches on them. This could be a very dangerous situation for somebody who has no idea about the physics of a motorcycle and stuff like that. But you won't know that until you ride it. So the thing is the courses around the world, it's like a motorcycle federation that has come up with a plan to find a way to basically give you all the riding, everything you're going to learn in your first year of riding. They said, let's put it into a 16-hour course of riding, so that people don't have to do trial and error to get this. That you get all this, you're starting off with what you would learn in the first year. Now, statistically speaking, almost all new motorcycles, if you're going to down your bike, it's going to be in your first year. And almost all the time, it's a low-speed handling incident in a parking lot. Because of, again, newbie mistakes, that type of thing. The experienced riders, usually what gets them is usually it's going to be something that when they forget the fundamentals, that's usually what gets them. It's not always speed related. It's just, spinning out on the loose gravel that you see. When you got a new rider going down the road, for example, and I've seen much footage of this, people who don't take courses, they don't even know how dangerous the road can be, just the road conditions. So, for example, like the cracks and stuff I'm riding on, I'm trying to avoid them the best I can. You get a newbie that's coming around a corner with a crack in it that's really on the curve like that, and then the front tire starts riding that crack. The next thing you know is the bike goes down because the person basically loses traction somewhere. They don't even realize that those things are going to cause you to lose traction. Or you're coming to a turn to turn off the road, and next thing you know, oh geez, hey, there's it looks like dust or of sand there. An experienced motorcycle not necessarily tenses up, but they get to alert right away when they see that. The newbie has no idea the trouble they're about to go into when they make the turn on the soft sand. You know what I mean? Like that type of thing. And you can't teach that stuff easily to people unless you really put it in point form like you'd get in a course. So even if you don't have to take a course, I highly recommend you take one. It saves you so much. For example, stuff that we learned in courses 20 years ago have changed. They do things differently now. They do things a little bit better. Things that worked back then still work, but now they found ways to do it easier and better. And learning how to ride a motorcycle safer, better, regardless of the type of bike. That's what you get out of the course. And most importantly, you learn it in a closed parking lot under supervision of somebody who can point out your faults. They can point out what you're doing wrong. When I retook my course again last year, okay, I was one of the best guys in the course because I probably had more experience than any of the other newbies there. But the instructor pointed out a few things. You're doing that. Oh, I said, geez, you don't even realize you're making these bad mistakes. So it's nice to have that really insightful correction there. And then once I corrected, bang, everything's just falling into line. Now, once you have the basic fundamentals, then you can take it to the street. But again, the low-speed handling, that's a big thing. That's what gets most riders. Doesn't get mostly killed, but usually the first accidents are going to be low speed stuff. That type of thing. The other thing is just the road conditions and speed. Learning how to do that stuff. And there's so much footage out there of people riding with people. They just got their bike license. Now they're riding with people with skills much better than them, and they get themselves into trouble. They don't know how to read a corner. They don't know how to navigate a corner. They don't know how to move around in the traffic. Little things like that. And you're going to see a lot of stuff like that come out on my channel here. Again, I am not an expert. I am just a guy who's, this is what I've noticed on the road. And this, so I'm not really trying to teach anybody how. I'm telling you, go take a course. That's what I'm telling you. Yes, it's going to cost you a couple of bucks, but what's your life worth? And the thing is that 16 hours you're going to spend in a parking lot is going to probably save you tens of thousands of dollars of damage on your beautiful bike. And if you were to send your boyfriend, girlfriend, or buddy, whatever, to that course rather than let them wreck your bike, well, right there, you'd save tens of thousands of dollars letting them wreck the course bikes rather than yours. So that's why I would highly recommend that you say, no, dude, go learn the right way, and they'll thank you for it, because good riding, I still see bad riding skills all over the place of people that still drag their feet through the lights. They still just use the front brake only at the stops, and I've seen so many bikes go down at lights do that, particularly the big heavy gold wings and stuff like that. I've seen those things seem to topple over all the time because the guys weren't given the fundamentals of how to ride those bikes properly at low speed. But anyway, I'll leave it at that. So bottom line, take the course, stay safe, and have yourselves a great day.